Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla. So we still hear many institutional investors talk about Waymo and how they are ahead of Tesla. And Tesla is basically too late to the party. But let me show you the facts about Waymo's technology and the progress they have made over the last 6 years they have been in operation. I think you might be very surprised at just how slow Waymo's progress has been. And it will show you that they cannot scale up their operation to keep up with someone like Tesla when they start rolling up cybercabs on the streets. There is no contest here. And Elon also had a few things to say about Waymo's service. And Tesla has just released the latest version of the full self-driving software here 2 days before the 10/10 event. And it's looking very, very good. So let's check it all out and let's dive right in. So let's start by looking at Tesla's latest software release before we jump into Waymo's technology and the whole comparison. So Tesla just a couple of days before their 10/10 event released the full self-driving version 12.5.6 and is looking very good and drives very, very smoothly. And the visualization is also looking much better, as we could see in this post. Full self-driving 12.5.6 visualization are so smooth. Surrounding cars don't jitter at all anymore, and it seems to be steady 60 frames per second. And Homer's wrote, yeah, wonder why that is. And as Hock from Tesla wrote, because we fixed a 4-year-old bug in the rendering. Nice. Also nice to see that even the visualization is getting better and better. But Elon also wrote, full self-driving will soon exceed 10,000 miles between critical interventions, which is a year of driving for most people. So, meaning that cars will drive flawlessly for about a year before a takeover. So we are getting really close to that robo-taxi level. An intervention for Tesla and interventions for Waymo is not the same thing, because Waymo doesn't report a human taking over as an intervention. So we can't really compare the interventions between Waymo and Tesla's system. But we also have to remember that we don't know everything about Tesla's full self-driving system. And even though we get to see Tesla's beta testers drive the system, well, Tesla has alpha testers as well that we don't get to see. So in reality, we don't know how far Tesla is on their development, as we only get to see the beta version, that is the version that comes out just before it goes to wide release. And we also got this post on X showing that the car can drive all over the place and for a long time, like Pete wrote here. And full self-driving is already consistently driving me 2-hour trips doorstep to doorstep. But yeah, go ahead and tell yourself robotaxis are 5 years out. Yes, exactly. We are close, and tomorrow we will know a lot more, but this is something that Waymo cannot do. Not 2 hours driving from doorstep to doorstep. But let's try to do some comparison to Waymo, that all the institutional investors are comparing to Tesla's robotaxi and saying that Tesla is behind because Waymo already has robotaxis. But that comparison is as dumb as saying that Spotify was meaningless because we already had Sony Music involved in music recording, publishing, and distribution. So let me try to show you why Waymo is not even comparable and why we will never get to an autonomous future with the technology they are using, because it's not scalable in so many ways. So we all know that Waymo is already operating robotaxi service, but how does they actually work? Well, Holmas shared a post here this week as he regularly uses Waymo's robotaxis, and he posted this: Waymo in Los Angeles. wait time 23 minutes, cost $24, distance 1.5 miles. Wow, that is bad. I could have walked those 1.5 miles in 23 minutes, making the point of using a robotaxi meaningless. And Elon also replied and saying this was expensive and slow. Yes, and Holmars also gave this comparison as his train ticket across town that only cost $175 and took less than 20 minutes. So yes, Waymo might have robotaxis on the street as we speak, but they are way too expensive and painfully slow. Not something that is actually really useful. And speaking of usefulness, let's take a look at where Waymo is actually operating. Waymo currently operates commercial robotaxi service in Phoenix, Arizona, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and now also in Austin, Texas. But to say they are operating in these cities is a bit optimistic, as it is not all of the cities it can drive in. Even after their expansion in San Francisco and LA, it is still not all of the city. And no, you can't even drive between these two cities or anywhere outside this little map of the city. Here you can see the Google map of roughly the geofenced area in Austin that Waymo can drive. But if we zoom out, we can see that this is just a very small part of Austin. You cannot go to the north of the city. It is basically only for driving around downtown Austin. So these small areas in these 5 cities is what Waymo have after 6 years after they launched their full self-driving robotaxi service for the first time in Phoenix. So the technology that Waymo is using has been around for 6 years and is basically the same today as it was 6 years ago. They constantly try to make it better and reduce the cost, of course, but the technology has not really changed. It's driving in a geofenced, pre-mapped area using LiDAR, radar, and cameras and other sensors. So this should give you a nice perspective of how fast Waymo can scale. 6 years, they have 5 small areas in 5 cities. So only about 90,490 cities to go in the US. So if they keep up the pace of progress, it will only take like 19,000 years till they have mapped all of the American cities. If this pace of progress Waymo has shown here does not show you this is not scalable, I don't know what will. We can zoom out a bit of Waymo's little geofenced area here in Austin and see what Tesla will be able to operate in when they launch their robotaxis. Yep, that is all of the United States. But that brings us to another scaling problem for Waymo. Cost. As ARK Invest also wrote in a blog post, Tesla has a clear path to scaling its robotaxi fleet, while Waymo must rely on Zeekr. Based in China, Zeekr could face hefty US tariff, which may be why Waymo has entered into another manufacturing relationship with Hyundai. ARK Invest estimates that Waymo's vehicles cost more than $100,000 to produce. Its sensor set alone is over $40,000. Though it is working to reduce cost, but the Tesla Model 3 costs $40,000, sensors included. While it needs to build a back-end support for remote vehicle assistance and customer support, Tesla should be able to leverage its existing factories, charging, and service infrastructure to scale efficiently. Yes, exactly. Waymo does not have a charging infrastructure or is a car manufacturer. Tesla is. Tesla already has the scale it needs, all the way out to its suppliers. Waymo does not. As we have seen that more and more car companies are dropping LiDAR altogether, as Tesla has shown that AI vision is the way to go. So we are seeing LiDAR company stocks dropping off a cliff, and probably why we hear a lot of noise from investors that are invested in these LiDAR companies, and they think that Tesla is doomed because they don't use LiDAR. But it has become quite clear that Elon was right. The ones using LiDAR is doomed. So as more companies are dropping LiDAR, the demand for LiDAR for vehicles is going down. And as I made a whole video about before, there is not enough LiDAR system for vehicles to make a 1 million robotaxi globally today. So the supply is not there. But when we know that Waymo moves as slow as a snail when it comes to expanding their service area, it doesn't matter that much. But we don't have the supply for LiDAR to make robotaxis to all of the US, let alone the whole planet. That LiDAR production has to be scaled up many orders of magnitude, but it is actually going the wrong way. So pretty easy to see that this technology is already dead. It will never be able to scale, and Tesla could mass produce robotaxis starting next year, and it will be built on their next generation unbox production method. So the cost will probably be something in the area of $10,000 to $20,000. So Tesla could, for let's say $18 million, peanuts for Tesla, build a fleet of 1 million robotaxis. For Waymo to do that, it will cost them about $100 million. But again, it's not possible, as there are not enough LiDAR system for vehicles being produced for Waymo to even make 1 million robotaxis. But Tesla is ready to do that. So not only is the system that Waymo have been proving it takes way too long to implement to be able to scale up fast, but the cost to keep up with Tesla is also going to be impossible, as they can scale up very, very fast and even start earning money on their full self-driving software in the other almost 7 million vehicles they have on the street, such as their Airbnb ride-hailing service kind of thing. So Tesla will basically be at scale on day one that they turn it on. Waymo will simply not be able to compete, as Tesla will undercut them in price and crush them on scalability. Waymo will have no chance of keeping up here. That some people think that they are even competition to Tesla is kind of funny and only shows us they don't really understand the difference in the underlying technologies. And we have also heard many institutional investors talk about the many miles that Waymo is doing already. Yes, but compared to Tesla, as ARK Invest has shown us many times before, Waymo already hardly register on the chart. And again, Waymo has been doing robotaxis for 6 years, and you can't even get a ride from San Francisco to LA. And speaking of cost, Tesla already today has a subscription service for the full self-driving software for the privately owned cars. As Dalton wrote on X, for only $99 a month, you can have your Tesla drive you around virtually everywhere without having to touch the wheel. Yep, and the amount of people that is going to subscribe to this service when Tesla shows that it can now actually drive you everywhere will just blow up. That service alone could finance Tesla's dedicated robotaxi production, making it basically free for Tesla to produce their own cybercabs. So Tesla has everything they need to make this scale and scale fast and scale very cost effectively. Waymo has already shown us they don't. But what about approval? Well, regulatory approval should pose fewer obstacles than having the technology challenge to fully autonomy, as ARK Invest has also pointed out. Competitors Waymo and Cruise have paved the regulatory path, but in the US, 40 states either have approved autonomous vehicles explicitly or have not prohibited them. So Tesla should be able to start in 40 states when they put their robotaxis on the streets, or have a fleet of cars operating their Airbnb robotaxi service in 40 states, not 5 small areas in 5 cities. But most of the states in the US are all ready for autonomy. So no, approval will not be the limiting factor. So this should give you a little insight to why Waymo is not a competitor to Tesla's robotaxi service. Waymo has no cost advantage, no scale in vehicles or miles driven, or fast scale in geofenced mapped areas. Tesla will just undercut Waymo in price and scale up so fast that it will make no sense to order a Waymo anymore, because you might be a little bit outside the area they drive in, so you have to go to the area and a specific place where the Waymo robotaxi can actually pick you up. Tesla's robotaxi will be able to pick you up wherever you are. And because Tesla can scale up fast, they will be able to just have cybercabs all over San Francisco or LA or whatever, making sure you will never have to wait 23 minutes to get a ride, and will cost something like 75 cents to go 1.5 miles, not $24. There is simply no way Waymo will be able to keep up with Tesla. And tomorrow we will learn a lot more about all of that at Tesla's Cybercap event. I will be live streaming it, so come hang out if you like to watch this historic moment with me and get my reaction to the event straight away. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.